What's happening? I'm Vaughn Monroe.
And I'm Lee Bay.
And this is Real Soul. In this installment of Real Soul, we're going to be doing star studies.
Indeed, and who we're studying today is Denzel Washington.
Star studies is a form of film studies where you actually look at the you look at the body of work of an actor and try to find characteristics. Beyond the sort of the regular stuff like Denzel is a leading man, but are there things he does particularly well? Are there themes he visits, etc. But that's the film studies version of star studies. What's the real version?
Tyler Perry, I guess. I really like Queen Latifah, but I'm really on Set It Off, and there she's just like boom, boom, boom. I'm like, you're cool.
Sidney Poitier.
Will Smith.
Samuel L. Jackson, Bernie Mac. Can go on for days right there.
Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington.
Now, Denzel Washington obviously is one of the star actors of our day and has had a pretty good run for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
Probably came to light for most of us. I go way back, man. I remember like some made-for-TV movies he was in before he was even before he was a star, like the George McKenna Story, and of course his turn on Saint Elsewhere.
I remember him as far back as Carbon Copy.
Oh yeah, with George Segal. That's right.
Yeah. But he's had lots of good stuff in between then. Again, this thing about looking for trends or looking for characteristics. One of the things that I think about with actors is, just a way to give sort of a metaphor for comparison is, you can be the Michael Jordan of actors, you can be the Magic Johnson of actors. And for me, Denzel Washington has always been the Magic Johnson of actors, in that he elevates the game of the other actors that are around him. So you put him in films, you can put him in films with actors who have less experience, who have the jitters, or who have whatever, and you know that, like magic, Denzel is going to get them to raise their game. And this clip that I chose from a movie called Out of Time, which is directed by Carl Franklin, who's a director that you all should be checking out,
Indeed.
is a fantastic example of Denzel Washington being so real and so present in the scene that he raises the game of the other actor in the scene. So let's take a look.
All right.
Good night.
Take it easy. Let me get you a refill there, Chief.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good, Chris.
Come on, it ain't a bribe. Just a beer. Hey, two, whatever he was just drinking. Sure. Thank you. Let me ask you something. The night when you were out there looking for that prowler, did you see anybody?
No, I didn't.
'Cause I had this feeling when I got home that Ann was with some other guy.
Really?
Yeah, and I think he snuck out the back when I got home.
Huh. No, I didn't see anybody.
I'll tell you what, though. Next time that little pussy comes around.
Little pussy.
Sure. The guy scurries out the back door the second he hears my voice.
Scary.
Yeah. I could almost respect a man who had the balls to confront me. Tell me, yeah, I'm banging your wife.
Maybe this guy, maybe there's nothing he would rather do than, to tell you that you're a lousy husband and that you don't deserve it. And maybe there's nothing he would rather do than to walk up in your face, look you right in the eye, and say to you, Chris, I'm banging your wife. Good. Maybe, maybe your wife won't let him.
I'd respect him at least. And if he did that, then I'd go up to him, look him in his eye, and I'd say, just come near her again, and I'll kill you.
Oh, Chris, wow. Talking to the wrong guy, Chris, because as a police officer, I can't let you go around threatening people's lives. I mean, if you're serious, then I would be obligated to do something about it.
Really?
That's right. Thanks for the beer and the conversation.
Thanks for listening.
Okay. You give Ann my best. If you can.
That's a great scene, isn't it? And it proves your point to the T that of Washington's ability to elevate the level of actors that are around him. I mean, Dean Cain, you probably know him best as those crazy Superman ABC things from 10 years, 12 years ago. But here, he steps up like a first-class actor.
He does actually. No disrespect, but he's actually doing late night infomercials when they got him to come on to this.
That's
I
right.
mean, that's how far his. That's how far the career had fallen down. He was doing the infomercials and the Ripley's Believe It or Not.
That's right.
Like that?
That's
okay.
right.
All right. Doing that, but in here seems a credible, angry, angry husband because Denzel walked up and just like hit all of his switches. So part of the thing is just as an actor that he's able to inhabit a space of believability with that much power that he provokes a response from the other actor to match what he's given, but then he does these other things in that are technical things, right? He walks up to him in the bar and he orders him the beer. He doesn't want to drink the beer. And so he does that thing with the beer that you do when you don't really want to have another drink. Somebody bought you a drink and you're kind of like messing around with it. It's a small detail. There's another moment where he first gets insulted and he taps his fingers impatiently on the beer bottle. So those are the small things that actors do to make the scene more believable that sometimes, particularly in the case of an actor like Denzel Washington, who's known as a leading man, and most of the time people talk about him for his handsomeness and that kind of stuff, but they kind of forget that he actually is a very skillful and accomplished technical actor and uses all those things to bring other actors up to his level, to give a greater sense of immediacy to the scene.
That's so correct. I mean, he has the command of his voice, of his body, and he leverages and uses that all to his advantage and to great effect. And for me, one of the movies in which I saw him do that for the first time is Soldier Story. Now, Soldier Story is a movie from 1984. It's directed by Norman Jewison, best known for directing In the Heat of the Night. And he took it from A Soldier's Play, which is a Charles Fuller play from the
Pulitzer
time.
Prize winning.
Pulitzer Prize winning play, that's right. And in which the lead actor, Harold Rollins, plays a major who has to go down to a southern military outpost to investigate a death. So it's a bit of a whodunit. The story is told in flashback, and it has this huge cast of characters, and Denzel Washington is among the cast, not yet a star, but in this scene with Adolph Caesar and a few other actors that you'll know, you'll see he really has the makings of that stardom that would come just a few years later.
Oh, yeah.
So Soldier Story with Denzel Washington. Let's take a look.
From now on, when I tell you to do something, I want it done. Is that clear?
Yes, sir!
Now get out of those baseball uniforms. I could smell you suckers before I hit the door.
Hey, what kind of colored man are you?
I'm a soldier, Peterson. And the kind of colored man that don't like lazy, shiftless Negroes.
Well, sir, you ain't got to come in here calling us names.
The Nazis called you Schwarzer. You gonna complain to Hitler he hurt your little feelings?
It don't look like to me we could do too much to them Nazis with paintbrushes, sir.
You trying to mock me, CJ?
No, sir, Sarge.
Good. Because whatever an ignorant, low-class Geechee like you has to say ain't worth paying attention to. Is it? Is it?
I reckon not, Sarge.
You a creep, Waters.
Sarge, just joking, Pete. He don't mean no harm.
No, he does. I mean, we're taking her from them white boys.
Yes, you do. And if it wasn't for you southern niggas, white folks wouldn't think we was all fools.
Well, where you from? England?
Okay. Looks like we got us a wise-ass Alabama boy here. Yes, sir. Now, don't you get smart, nigga.
Get your fucking hands off me!
You wanna hit old Sergeant Waters, boy? Come on. Please.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, man. You know, it's interesting to think about. We talk about this phenomena about finding stars and about, you know, what is it that separates? And there's two things. What is it that separates character actors from stars, and then what is it that separates like stars from movie stars, right? And movie stars are stars that can act,
right?
Actually, you know, you have the people who can just like sort of. And I'm not going to call them names right now. We'll say that for another show.
Right,
but it's people who can just, you know, they show up and for their beauty or for their glamour or et cetera, they, you know, they'll get some roles. But what directors find out is that they're limited in their range. There's only so much that they can do. And character actors don't have what's considered the looks. And sometimes it's not simply looks. It can be charisma as well. To be able to, you know, to be able to have the audience come and see what they're doing time after time. And then, you know, there's that performance that shows up where the actor just explodes off the screen. This one was one, but there were a lot of really fantastic actors in there, and not a lot of names and faces that people are going to recognize. But Denzel Washington was tearing it up in there.
Oh, he definitely was. I mean, and the one shot is framed with C.J., the Southern guy on the left, and Sergeant Waters, played by the great Adolph Caesar, who had a career that was far too short in the movies. I mean, he had been a stage actor and a voiceover artist for years. I mean, if you grew up in the 70s like I did, every blaxploitation film, the trailer was done by him. You know, Penitentiary, you know, all that great voice. And he died maybe 2 or 3 years after this film, which is sad. But the shot is framed with Sergeant Waters on one side and C.J. on the other, and Denzel is in the middle, in the back. But it's his reaction to this thing that really grabs your eye. And there's another scene in which he is sort of speaking to the star. The star of the movie is supposed to be Howard Rollins Jr.
Yes.
And he really is. But even who's a great actor who had been nominated for an Oscar just a few years earlier with Ragtime, but didn't win. And this scene, to watch it now, is, if not eerie, it's certainly interesting, because you see Rollins, whose career probably peaked with this movie and maybe went down from there, and you see Denzel on the rise, and see them occupy the same space at the same time is kind of interesting.
You know, sometimes it can be fascinating to watch two really good actors go toe to toe. And I think because there's a way where, because Denzel elevates other actors, you can watch for that. He almost always gets the best out of another actor. But there's a scene in The Great Debaters with him and Forrest Whitaker where you can see them. It's like two highly accomplished, skillful actors. You know, they approach the scene, and Denzel's directing the scene, so he just, you know, there's not like a tension, but it's just the two actors like sort of interacting with each other, and you can see the pleasure that they have of bouncing the skill off of one actor to the others. Like, I'm going to throw you this beat, and you throw me this beat back, and let me see what I can do with that. And it's like they're like two brilliant jazz artists just improvising throughout the scene, and when you know, like, to look for that sort of thing, you watch those types of scenes, and they're just elevated. They're well, it's not elevated. You understand what they really are, which is like this sort of it's a supreme art form being practiced by two of the best in the business, even though the scene itself might seem like it's not that important to the film.
Sure. And certainly, you know, over the years, I mean, how many fantastic performances, I mean, from Denzel, from Malcolm X, you know, to even movies like that I wasn't that fond of, like The Hurricane, for instance, where I thought his performance was fantastic. The rest of the movie, I think, around him may have fallen down a little bit.
That was Norman Jewison too.
That was Norman Jewison too, as well. And now, one thing I must say about the scene we just saw in the movie we just saw is that Denzel Washington and Adolph Caesar kind of had a bit of a head start in this, and that they they'd been together playing similar roles in a play in New York, roughly the same time. At the time this movie was filmed, Denzel, there seems to be a little Malcolm X in his sort of delivery. Denzel was doing When the Chickens Come Home to Roost at the time, New York play. Of course, he goes on to play Malcolm X a few years later under Spike Lee's direction.
Yeah, you know, that Hurricane film though is another one of those films where people can get lost in the fact that, you know, was Denzel's handsome and blah, 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 but not understand. It's like he plays a 29-year-old man.
Yes.
And I think he's in his 40s. He's like maybe 42 or something like that. But then, it's, you know, when you're the director and you're talking to the actor, that's one of the things you talk about. It's like, okay, how old is the character? So he was 29. Well, how does a 29-year-old boxer hold his body? How does he carry himself? How does he move? How does he drink his coffee? How does he brush his teeth? How does he wave goodbye? How does he lean over to talk to a woman? All of those things are specific to, you know, because when you're 50, you don't do it like you did when you were 29. But still, it takes the actor has to do the homework, and then they have to put those things. It's called putting that memory in your body, so that you just begin to make all of the choices that you make come from that sense of character. And it's a tremendous acting job. And again, people are just so, you know, they get caught up in the package and they don't see the technical skill.
Indeed, no, and as he gets older, you know, it's interesting to see that, you know, he still maintains control of that and still is able to pull off with his body a great performance. He's still a good-looking man, but he's able to use. He's able to use his body in a way, the similar ways as he did before.
Yeah. Okay, that wraps up this installment of Real Soul. Come back with us next time when we do foreign films. I'm Vaughn Monroe.
And I'm Lee Bay.
Keep it real.